Well, I guess I'm going to have to add to this one. So this is going to be 1 and 1A, I guess, added to the others. But I was coming through with the Hustler car. I was coming through May the 4th. I was coming through Charlottesville, and this is where Anastasia, and she really is Anastasia, was, well, she was there. And the day I drove through there with a driving the Hustler Larry Flint car, May the 4th of '84, she was murdered. Blue Ridge Mental Health murdered her, no doubt. She was illegally put there by an attorney named Preston. By the way, that's the name of the twin, Carl Preston. I'm trying to give you some of the patterns. Uh, this was against Manahan. He was a professor at the University of Virginia, was her husband, and they owned a farm in Scottsville, just outside Charlottesville. And she was put there illegally. That is something when somebody else can hire an attorney and have her put in Blue Ridge Mental Health. The lady wasn't crazy. She'd been through hell herself. Her family, she's Real Czar Nicholas's daughter. Her family had been burned and raped before her eyes, and her also, and the hell she went through before she ever came to Charlottesville, Virginia. And an attorney was hired to have her locked up. You don't think it can happen? Dream on. That's where she was killed, and I was driving the Larry Flint car. Now then, here's the point I'm going to make here. She really was Anastasia. And a woman that ended up with, right after she was murdered, by the way, I had court documents where the royal family did come, some of them too, after she died. And it was in court, and I've never seen any copies other than the ones given to me. I've never seen them anywhere else. Press won't print it, nothing, just like they won't print about me or the mind control murders. But anyway, they were there in court, members of the royal family. Well, who ended up with what Anastasia? That was her home in Scottsville. She was married to Manahan. Now then, you got mind control being used in this. So you wonder what happened to Manahan, her professor husband, because he was all on her side for her. This woman, Althea, was a real estate dealer, and oh, she's an American, and she's from Charlottesville, no doubt. And if you wonder why I'm using this tone of voice, you should walk in my shoes when they've committed crimes against you. You're trying to tell them and fight and get some law and justice and just stay alive and see how you're treated. Whole different story than when they paid Elizabeth, who's had my money, but she's got a crown, right? So they kiss up to her, and they put me up on the mountain, tell me I can't even stay on the Appalachian Trail to get off. So anyway, I wanted to tell you about my feelings because they've lied about me every step of the way. But Anna, that was really Anna. And Althea was a real estate dealer. And by the way, I'm connecting that back to the name Althea Flint, Larry Flint's car I was driving when I came through May the 4th of '84. And I turned on the radio and I heard that she had just died, Anastasia. And this is a woman named Althea that's a good, upstanding Charlottesville citizen, or Scottsville, right outside. Well, she's there because I saw her name on the real estate when I was there in Charlottesville once later on. So she ended up, as far as I can tell, she ended up, which is quite odd, she was calling herself Tsarina. And she was ended up with anything that belonged to Anastasia. Now, you know, what else? I'm not even going to ask what else can they do to me and my family here. I mean, look what they did to her. You should see what they've done to me in plain sight. Now, why did I end up here in exile to Roanoke, which is about 60 miles from Charlottesville, the University of Virginia? So you think, I'm trying to show you the names involved, though, because Flint was married to a Peggy, and I'm flown out there, and all this other stuff didn't just happen. And then Althea dies, his wife, and then you've got me coming driving the hustler car driving through at the time that they said she was murdered. I've gone back and they have tried to change the dates within a few days of when she was murdered. And they don't call her being murdered, okay? She was murdered. She was halidol to death. And Manahan, her husband, drove his car through a fence trying to get her out, all right? So they murdered her right in plain sight, just like they've done it to me and my children, what they've done to me. Nobody pays for these crimes. The press won't print it because the Rockefellers and Rothschilds and Elizabeth and all these shut it up. So I guess I'm getting off a bit on my point being about the mind control murders, but this is a part of it. She withstood so much, and it's so sad because her father and her mother were decent, good people. And I'm trying to think about, and I'm sitting here doing this from memory, who was the guy that they tried to say that he came in and her mother, Alexandra, confided in him. It started with an R or something. And anyway, you get into, if you look back and you know about mind control, you know that it was used back then. So you have to wonder how far back mind control has existed. And you have to wonder about mental health, about some of these people, if they aren't political prisoners right here in this country that are put there, and mind control's been used on them, and they're using the mental health system on them. One has nothing to do with the other. It's a misdiagnosis, and it's to call them mentally ill. They're a victim of mind control. You're torturing them. So, that's what I wanted to say, and I wanted to bring it to the what had happened to the Romanovs and to Anastasia right here in Charlottesville, and me over here in Roanoke. And I would love for the world to see my whole life how I've been treated here, and to read about what they've said about Tsar Nicholas. They had to lie about him. Look how they lied about my dad. They kidnapped me. He was married. This is a lie. Wallace Simpson, the double. There's a movie, The King's Speech makes out my uncle, the one that took down my dad, his brother, and kidnapped me with the Roosevelts and the Kennedys, made him out to be a good guy in the movie, not a bit of truth. So I guess that's it. I was trying to put together what had happened to Anna and connect it with the timeline and the names, and I hope I have some. And this young man was a victim of mind control himself. So I guess God bless America. I had them say that to me when they were working me over. So I don't know. He's let them have a field day. It would be nice if he'd bless them the right way, you think?